Well, good morning, YouTube. All right, guys, I am up at Goliath trying to get some work done on the trailer. And in another video that you're going to see, whether you've seen it yet or not, I don't know, about me taking Michaela's Tahoe over to Crossroads Auto Center to get the transmission replaced in it. We did that earlier today. Now we're back over Goliath so I can load my toolbox onto the trailer. But I've got other projects on Goliath that I've already been working on. And one of them is actually going to inhibit me from being able to get my toolbox out of the Renegade onto the little trailer. But I came by a little while ago to drop off the little trailer before running another errand, and I saw this guy here. He was actually backed into the dock, and well, maybe a little bit nervous. I don't like Swifty Swifts being that close to Goliath. Makes me nervous. Anyway, so like I said, another video where we are working on Michaela's car. We went and dropped it off at Crossroads earlier today, about 1 o'clock or so, and then I had some other errands to run, had to come over here. But I've been really bad about recording things this week, guys, and I apologize for that. I have been doing some little odds and end projects up here just to get prepared for Bike Week. We've only got like, what, 8 days until we leave? So it's coming down to the wire, and I feel like I have not accomplished anything even nearly close to what I needed to get done to be prepared for this event. I mean, we're gonna make it, but I'm just not gonna get everything done that I wanted to get done. So here's what I've been working on so far that I was just not in the mood to record earlier this week. Well, before we get started, let's get some light turned on in here. All right, so one of the things I've been working on is some of this tool organization here. See, I've got all these down here in the toolbox, so I drilled a bunch of holes and made places for some of my tools to sit to make them a little bit easier to grab. Minor stuff, yeah, I spent a couple hours measuring things out, putting it where I want. It wasn't even really my game plan to do, but it's done. And I even had it all cleaned off, but then I got working on other projects to pull more tools out, and some of these are projects I'm still working on, so we'll get into the next one. You guys notice on top of the red lifts, usually the gray lift is sitting right here as well. I took that out and took it home and got it stored someplace else. I still had all the leftover batteries from the last season that were still in here, and I took those home and got them put in with the rest of the core disposable batteries as well. I do have 2 brand new lifts coming. They should hopefully be here this week that we'll be using in Daytona, so we'll have 4 up and running again. All of them relatively brand new, because remember these red ones, last year was the first season for those. So I can't wait till they get here. We'll talk more about those when they arrive. All right, so one of the other projects is, you see all these shelf units back here. I've got a total of 7 of them. 6 of them go in our showroom area on site when we're at the rallies, and 1 of them stays in the service department for us to put material on to use for the motorcycles, you know, the primary fluid, transmission fluid, all the other quarts, and some gallons of the 1040. Well, they had these really crappy casters on them, and they're plastic, they're very lightweight, and when you're rolling these things over like a rough surface, like, you know, worn asphalt that's really bumpy, man, they just shook and rattled, and these things would get all scuffed, and they're plastic, they break. These shelves are really not made for what we're doing. The whole purpose of these is for someone to put them in their showroom, like in an auto parts store, and move it around a nice smooth, you know, floor of some sort. Well, that's not how we do things, so we were having issues with the wheels always coming loose and breaking off. So what I did is I went through all of these, and I ditched these casters, which were on all 4 corners. 2 of them had locks on the front, 2 of them did not. What I did in lieu of those is I went on Amazon and I found some of these rollerblade wheels that were about the diameter I wanted, and I had to drill holes, put an bolt system in it, and I just took the wheels off the front as well. So there's only the 2 wheels on it now, and they're gonna roll a whole lot smoother through the grass, over the rougher pavement. It should work better, and they've actually got a higher weight rating. Not that we ever move these when they're full, so they're not that heavy, but I think these are gonna last a lot longer. But it was still quite the task to get all of these done. All right, guys, this is probably a good time to mention we have finally set up an Amazon affiliate program. So I'll leave a link to those wheels in the description here. So if you need something like that, you can go in there and get them. But even if you don't, if you click the link, it takes you into Amazon. At that point, anything you buy, the channel will get a small commission off of it. It doesn't cost you any more. So if you really want to support the channel some, please use the link in the description to the Amazon website, and then just make your normal purchases like you normally would, and it'll really help us out to bring you better content. So you can see where the old caster screwed in from the bottom. So it would have sat like that and threaded through there. I removed it, and just basically put a nut to use there as an axle. And now look at how nice and easy these things roll. So the whole idea is when we need to move them now, we will just lean them back and be able to roll them. Look how quiet they even are. So I think that's going to make moving those around a whole lot easier. Now what I'd still like to do is I want to put a handle on the back of each one so we have a place to grab it and pull it down and roll it. Also, there is a piece that attaches to the very top of them that's got the Amsoil logo on it, and it just drops into these slots. But I can't leave them on when we transport because you see I don't have the clearance up top. So we remove those and we end up storing them someplace else. And I'm not real fond of that either. You guys know I like efficiency. I want everything to be where it's supposed to be when I need it so that's quick and easy. So I'd like to make some type of a holder on the back of these, probably out of like an angle aluminum or something, that I can allow those to slide into, and then maybe put some felt or some type of a fabric on there just so it's not metal on metal getting scratched up going down the road as things vibrate. And that way everything with these shelves will all be right there together. And Burr, I gotta tell you guys, it's pretty chilly out today. You know, it's only in the low 30s, which isn't terrible, but the wind is blowing pretty steady. I'm hoping it's not messing up the microphone function on here, but it's just making it burr. That's why I've got my gloves on, because my hands are absolutely freezing. All right, if you guys look behind me, there's a little bit of a mess here. So these pieces with the diamond plate on them, these were the flip down ramps. You guys have probably seen that in the other videos. They attach the end of the tailgate for the trailer right down here. And once the tailgate is down, I can flip those over. And they basically were designed for lower profile race cars, like what this trailer was originally designed for, that needed a more gradual entry way so that they didn't bottom out with, you know, air dams and other low clearance items. However, for our use, they really weren't that necessary, and they actually made a few difficulties for us along the way as well. So even when those ramps are flipped down, they left a pretty good sized gap in between them. And when we're rolling things like toolboxes and the carts and so on and so forth, we had to be very careful to keep everything in the right line. Otherwise a wheel would come off and it would, you know, drop into that spot and make it challenging. And that's got to be there no matter what, because you see we've got the cable right here in the middle that's hooked to the winch. And as that tailgate goes up, that cable gets more of a 90-degree to the tailgate. So at some point when it gets to the very top, if we don't have a split in it, whatever flip down we use, it's going to interfere with the cable, and the cable has to be there because this tailgate is god awful heavy. All right, now these flip downs, you know, you see the aluminum here, but they're actually like a 5/8 or maybe even a 3/4 inch thick, really heavy duty plywood. And then it's fiberglass coated on both sides and resined. And then they put the diamond plate and all the trim on it. So these things are extremely heavy. I'm willing to bet that each one of them weighs somewhere between 50 and 70 pounds. I haven't had my elbows calibrated in a while, so I don't know exactly. I don't have a scale here, but I know that they're heavy. But I can tell you the replacement, which is going to be this, it's super light because it's aluminum. Now, right now, this piece is 7 feet long. I am going to cut it in half, and I'm going to space it just enough so that cable and the D-ring in the bottom of the trailer will just clear as it goes up. That'll actually give us more footprint to get our cabinets and everything onto safely, and it's going to be so much lighter and so much easier to work with. Now, the reason I was saying that I needed to get this done so that I can get the toolbox out so that we can go take it up to Crossroads Auto Center to do Michaela's transmission tomorrow is because look at the height of that trailer. It may not show up on camera, but that's a good 4.5 inches off of the actual ground. So when I come out of here with my toolbox, I don't want it to just fall off of that big lip. Now, I could back my other little trailer right up to it and would minimize the lip, but it would still be better if I finish my project and then my flip down will make a nice, easy transition from one trailer to the next. But I got to get the lift up because the toolbox has to come out this way. So I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to try to warm up my hands because even with these gloves on, my hands are just going numb. And they actually hurt right now, especially the one that's holding the phone. So I'm going to regroup and then we'll get to cutting that piece in half and fastening it to the end of this tailgate. All right, guys, I am actually sitting here in the truck warming my hands up. It's that bad. You know, I have a set of warmer gloves somewhere that I used last week. They're not really good for filming and whatnot because I can't reach the buttons on the phone, but I can't find them right now. So I'm going to warm them up and then I'm going to get back out there and do a little bit more. Well, guys, you've heard me say it before. If it's not one thing, it's another. So I'm trying to get the lift to go up so I can get the toolbox to the back, and the lift won't go up. It started to move and then it just shut off. I noticed I lost power to the stereo, so I thought, well, Maybe the batteries are dead or something like that. But I just opened the tailgate a little while ago and it worked fine for that. And I charged the batteries just a few days ago. So I go over to the tailgate and go to raise it up, and it'll raise up just fine. So it can't be the batteries. They both run the same batteries. So I got the looking over here, and this is what I found. So here inside the tongue box is where we've got the circuit breakers. One is for the lift, the other is for the tailgate. Comes off of the batteries, goes to the main switch. And right here, coming out of the main switch, we have an issue. So it looks like it just pulled out. I bet you that one of these blocks had fallen out or fallen down and hit the wire and pulled it out of the lug. So now I've got to fix that before I can go any further. Well guys, it just looks like the crimp wasn't quite tight enough. I'm gonna see if I can't get the wire back in there and re-crimp it. All right, so that worked like a charm. Lift is up in the air. So now let's get back to our project. But I think I need to go sit in the truck and warm my hands up again. All right, guys, I finally broke down and I had to close up the doors on the trailer. So I'm inside, I still got a little bit of light. I've got to cut this piece in half, which is gonna make a little bit of aluminum metal mess there, but I really wanna do that outside. However, it's still cold in here, but at least this way, you know, we don't have the wind. So hopefully it's gonna be a little bit better, and I'll just swoop the trailer out afterwards. Truth is, the trailer's filthy. It needs to be cleaned anyway. So I'm gonna measure this, cut it in half. We're gonna go back there to the back, see how it fits. And I'm gonna do as much as I can without opening the door until I absolutely have to. All right, so now I have two identical or mostly identical pieces. Fortunately, now I've got to drop the tailgate so I can lay them in place and mark where the holes are going to be drilled. And I'll close it back up, come back in here, drill out all the holes, and then it's going to find fasteners to hold it all together. Are drilled, and I found some small little countersink type fasteners. So time to open the door back up and see if we can place it all together. I'm definitely gonna put some Loctite in all these so they don't rattle loose. There you go. See, you only got a little bit of clearance in there. Got all 5 of the bolts in and tightened with lots of red Loctite. All right, guys, another light time lapse. Sucks. I'll show you what I did. I've got one done. I'm like a popsicle out here tonight. And the flippy flip, bam. All right, call that done. Oh guys, as the sun has gone down, it has gotten even colder. I don't know if you guys can see it in the time lapse or not, but Now that it's dark out and I've got the flashlight out there so I can see what I'm doing, I can actually see the little bits of snow coming down. You know, not the big stuff, that little teeny tiny things that look like granules of salt falling. They're not sticking or nothing, but it's just chilly. So I'm gonna... Well, so I have one strap going all the way around the base and back up to the front of the trailer to keep the toolbox forward so it can't roll backwards.
All right, guys,
I have two going
like
over the
trying
top.
to do all this
that
in the
it
dark,
can't.
in the cold.
Oh, man, doesn't it look so naked over here without my toolbox there? Anyway, I think I have everything that I'm going to need out of the trailer for tomorrow. I've got everything secure. Now, in the morning, we've really only got to go about 15 miles or so to get over to Hayesville, and it's only about 2.5 miles from here back to the house. So we're not going real far. So hopefully it will
left
be
and
okay.
right.
But
I even have
we're
one going
done here
around
for
the
the
doors,
night.
just
All I
make
got to
sure
do is
doors
lock
can't come
everything
open.
up and
Then
turn
I've
off the
got
power.
one going at an angle on either
That's
side.
going to be it. So
to
tomorrow
stop the
morning
back
we
end
will
from
continue
wanting
the
to
video that
swing
I started this
left.
morning on fixing Michaela's car. So thank you guys for watching. Until the next time I see you.